Hey everybody, Brad here on Nelson Ridge Farm. Thanks for coming. Hey, I'll dive right into it. I brought the Harbor Freight Predator 20-ton log splitter inside to do some maintenance on it, and I thought what a perfect time to do a review. So I've had this now over a year. I've had it, this is going on 13 months now in heavy use. I will do some cleanup on it. I'm going to change the oil on it. It's due. And I'll do a voiceover review of it. I have some pros and some cons. If you're in the market or looking at one of these things, I've had this for a year and I think about 20 cords of wood through it, which is pretty high volume. I wasn't expecting to do that much, but it kept splitting, so I kept using it. And I'll talk about what's awesome about it and a couple things I don't like about it. But it's going to be overall positive review, and you can watch me. I mean, it's filthy right now, and at the end, hopefully this thing will look a little bit better as I go into the winter firewood season. So thanks for sticking around. I will split some wood with it at the end of this video to show it in action. But if you want to see a lot of action, we have tons of videos using this. Go back to Nelson Ridge Farm and pick out one of the videos to watch it in action, and you can see all the good things and some of the limitations of it. Thank y'all for watching. Hey, let's get going with some of these pros here. Again, this is an overall positive review. I highly recommend this splitter, especially if you're beginning or you're a residential user and don't have a whole lot of commercial needs for this splitter. This is going to be a great one. And number one there is just overall performance. You buy a log splitter to split logs, and this one just keeps on doing it. I rarely have to take a second whack at any of the rounds we split. It goes through them as long as I'm smart and use it the way it's designed. I'm having no problem. So overall performance is the number one pro, and again, highly recommend this splitter. I'll start there. Here I'm cleaning off the engine, and I'll get going with pro number two is that engine reliability. So rarely do I ever have to pull more than 2 times to get the engine to start, and it never fails once it does start. If I pull more than 3 times and I know I've done something wrong, it does like to be level on level ground. So if I'm on pull number 4 or something like that, I obviously check my surroundings. I do put it on the side of hills sometimes, and it will start, but if it doesn't, I know I'm too crooked, so I do have to straighten it up. But the engine is reliable. It's never failed me. Starts every time, and boy, it just keeps on keeping on. Pro number 3 is the value. So this is no Easton made splitter. This is no Wolf Ridge splitter. It's not a commercial grade splitter, but for what you get, I know it's more expensive than what I paid for it. It was $679 listed, $850 shipped with all the fluids to my house. I know it's several $100s more than that now, but I think all the other splitters have risen too. So you get a pretty good punch for your money here, and that's my third pro. Now I love the two-way splitting. So at the end of this video, you'll see some splitting, but if you like the two-way, which can go back and forth either way, you do have to handle the logs each time you make a cut. But I love that two-way action. It, in my mind, speeds me up. I do have a counting line splitter, more traditional one, and I like the action of this one better. The counting line's a little more sturdy. We'll talk about that in the cons, but the two-way splitting I just really like on this one. Okay, so that's the Boss 4-way wedge. There's the original knife. Two-way, really nice. And then this fits right down on top of it. Okay, now with the cons, my biggest con here, this engine and pump combo is more powerful than the frame. That's what my con is. And what I mean by that is if you exceed the book recommendations of a 16-inch log, which the round would sit up here, and you get into a knot. If it's straight grained, it does not matter. But the hydraulics are so strong that they'll carry the point. This has got the 4-way on it, sorry, but there's a knife right under it. This knife will get under a knot and carry, and the hydraulics are strong. It'll keep going, and then the cylinder will start to rub against the top part of this frame. And you can see a tiny bit of bowing out right there. I heard it. I didn't understand what was happening at first, so I let it get a little bit wavy here on top. I've seen on other channels, guys, that's just normal. They beat it back down with the sledgehammer. I just take a big piece of wood if I ever get it. But anyway, that's where they saved money. That's why it's a little bit cheaper than the rest. I can feel under here some rub marks. And again, you can see that paint, that shiny paint right there, where that cylinder has rubbed up here against the frame, and the frame's giving way just a little bit. No big deal. I'll watch it now. When I have knots, I take my time and I don't let this sound, this metal on metal sound, when I start hearing that, I back off, and it's no problem. Okay, and these clean outs here, that's my second biggest con. I just cleaned them out. They're just a little bit hard to clean out every time. So if you can see here, this was all in those clean outs under here. So it takes me a minute with a screwdriver and a hammer or some pliers there. I use channel locks here to get these clean outs clean. The same thing on the other side. I would do them right now, but the cylinder's back, so I'll have to wait till I start it and move the cylinder forward. But even in here, you can usually see some light through there, and I can feel material built up right there. So you can see down in there, I've got material, if it'll focus good. Okay, the last con I have is I think you do have to put it together. So they save a little money with sending it in a crate. The crate was well packed. I've seen some things on other channels where there's a little bit of damage to the crating, but mine came okay. The good thing is it's easy to put together. So my daughter and I put it together in the barn. I did use a little bit of overhead lift for this, but you didn't have to. I was just holding it stable while I got some of these bolts put in. And so you'll have to assemble it, but it took us a couple hours, a teenager and a non-mechanic. I have had to tighten these engine bolts a couple times through the year. As I do take this about a quarter mile away is where we do most of our splitting, or at least our stacking up there, and I did a lot of splitting. So I do trailer this quite a bit on the property, so I do shake this around a little bit. So I always kind of check these engine mounts, especially since I'm the one that put them in. Other than that, not too bad of an assembly job. We did great. I think the hardest thing for us was putting those doggone hubcaps on. I couldn't get I bent the hubcap a little bit, and it took me a while to beat that on. We re-greased them. They came with a little bit of grease, but you probably want to add your own grease. And that's our last con. All right, so that wraps it up. Overwhelmingly positive machine here. The review should have sounded really positive. It's a great value. I know it's a little more expensive than when I bought it, but everything is. So I think if you're a beginner, which I was, and I was cleaning up storm damage, or you're a residential user, or you just have a need to cut and split about, maybe less than 15 or 20 cords. That's about what we did, 20 cords this year. This is a great machine to start out with. And we're plowing in through our second year using it, and I'm not slowing down. So I'll get about 20 cords this year with it if I keep taking care of it. So I appreciate everything. I'm gonna show some splitting here, some action. You can choose some other videos where I just split, whole face cords at a time with this thing. But thanks for watching. Come back, see us on Nelson Ridge Farm. Thank you.